NFL offseason is always full of drama and rumors, and this past week has been no exception. In this video, we're going to break down how the football card markets have reacted to these rumors across the league during the week of April 12th, 2022. So let's dig in. Hey guys, welcome to the Football Card Quest. What's going on? My name is Andy. Now, if you want to learn more about how the NFL news and the fantasy football analysis affects the football card markets and all other really cool football card related stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that little bell notification icon so you don't miss anything. So the first thing that's been going around, major news story, is that unfortunately tragic event happened on Saturday morning with Dwayne Haskins, who got struck by a dump truck on Interstate 595 in South Florida while attending a workout with fellow teammates Najee Harris and some other guys at Mitchell Trubisky's house in Boca Raton, Florida. Just absolutely tragic for a guy who was an Ohio State legend, drafted in the first round by Washington. Never quite worked out there, but the guy, thoughts and prayers out to his family. Absolutely tragic event, only 24 years old. Now, in terms of the football card market, his cards have spiked in demand. In fact, I sold two myself that were already listed over the weekend. A Silver Prism PSA 10 autograph card, shout out to my Belgian brother Marlon, and a Panini Unparalleled. Now, he was a 2019 rookie, so you could see quite a bit of demand for his cards. Now, this is what I believe is a temporary spike based on the tragic news surrounding Dwayne Haskins. I do not believe that this hype is going to continue to elevate his prices above and beyond these low price points. Now, there are quite a few cards selling at this low price point. There's a lot of people wanting to collect his stuff. I think it's a lot more collect than it is invest. Because it's going to be, well, you know, it's very unfortunate, it's very tragic, but there's not going to be any more performance from Dwayne Haskins. So now he's going to be subject to the guys of yesteryear, the vintage cards, essentially. But this is what I call a temporary demand spike. It's not something that is going to continue to sustain and send the value of these cards upward long term. We're basically seeing a sellout of cards that are at these current, you know, kind of low value price tiers for a 2019 quarterback rookie. If you were to compare these to Kyler Murray, these are very, very low. I want to talk about Melvin Gordon, the prolific running back from Wisconsin, who is entering his 7th year in the NFL. 2015 rookie. He's been working out with the Baltimore Ravens. He is an aging running back, but a lot of people still think he's got juice in the tank. Can you imagine if he was added to the Ravens depth chart? It's likely he's not going to return to Denver. That's what all indications are pointing towards, him signing with the Ravens or potentially another team. You can see some sales activity for Melvin Gordon. It's nothing too crazy. You know, like I said, he is 29 years old, entering his 7th season in the NFL. But if you look at his 2021 stats, it was almost 1,000 rushing yards. So you add him to the Baltimore Ravens depth chart. That's first and foremost going to be really good for Javonte Williams, the electric 2021 rookie from North Carolina State. Javonte Williams' values may only go up from here. If Melvin Gordon signs with another team and the Denver Broncos don't draft another running back in the upcoming draft, this is going to be a huge ADP spike. So Javonte Williams is going, his average draft position in fantasy drafts is going to go up and up. He's going to start going earlier and earlier, and these values are going to go up. When you have rookie ticket autos for Jamar Chase going around $1,000, there's nothing to say that Javonte Williams can't go up to at least 100, 150, especially when he goes out and overproduces. We talked about what potentially Russell Wilson can do for the Denver Broncos offense, and Javonte Williams could be a big benefactor, especially getting a all-purpose workhorse load. You then look at the Baltimore Ravens depth chart. This is bad. This is bad for Baltimore Ravens running backs on a team where Lamar Jackson is already likely to tuck it and run it. But you look at J.K. Dobbins coming back from a pretty gruesome ACL tear. Is yet to be seen how explosive he's going to be out the gate in September, but you add Melvin Gordon to an already very crowded backfield, something I want to avoid. I want to avoid it in sports card investing. I want to avoid it in fantasy football as well, because you have so many mouths to feed. And so right now I would be trying to sell my J.K. Dobbins cards. I mean, you can see that they're, currently trading for around the same as Javonte Williams. I'd be selling J.K. Dobbins. I'd be buying Javonte Williams. That is exactly what I would be doing right now. And I'd be excited because we've got new sets getting ready to be released for Javonte Williams. Prism, Optic, Select, right around the corner here at the end of April, beginning of May. Hey, while we're talking NFL hype, let me know in the comments below which cards you guys are buying and selling this week, and give us a thumbs up if you like this video. The next news story I want to talk about is former USF alumni Marlon Mack, who officially signs with the Houston Texans. This breathes life into Marlon Mack, a guy who had over 1,000 rushing yards in 2019. So we've seen him break out at the NFL level before. You go back, he almost had 1,000 rushing yards in 2018. It was his second and third years in the NFL. And now he's coming off an Achilles tendon rupture that occurred heading into the beginning of 2020 season. So he's 2 years removed from that. He's best comparable to Marshawn Lynch. Now he goes to a Houston Texans backfield with Rex Burkhead and Derrick Gumbawale. Marlon Mack steps in, becomes the RB1 of Houston Texans offense. Now, I know it's not the biggest market size, although it is pretty healthy size, and it is not a team that is going to be even remotely close to the top NFL power rankings. However, Marlon Mack can explode in this offense. He really truly can. He can definitely put up some solid production. If you look at where his values are at currently, I'm excited, guys. I'm excited because I do have quite a few Marlon Mack cards in my collection. I'm hoping that he goes out and overperforms this new expectation. Of course, he's going to be going earlier in fantasy drafts, maybe closer to the 9th, 10th round, something like that, because he is going to be an RB1 for a team now versus being number 3 on the depth chart in the Indianapolis Colts, regardless of how good their offensive line and offensive schemes are and how run heavy of a team they are. He's going to a team where he can actually get opportunities, carries, and targets. This is very important. Davis Mills likely to be the quarterback. He's not extremely mobile. He's going to be dumping it off to Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack is explosive, guys. Marlon Mack is explosive. He's done it before, and I can't wait to see him do it again in 2022. I've already got my collection built up, but I may buy some more. It's purely a production fantasy asset type of investment. You're not investing for the Houston Texans to go to the playoffs. You're not investing for them to win a bunch of games, that kind of thing. You're simply buying them because there's literally no downside to buying a $5 rookie ticket auto. Next up, Brandin Cooks signs an extension with the Houston Texans. We're going back to the Houston Texans again to look at their wide receiver depth chart. Brandin Cooks, the clear alpha on that team. We talked about Brandin Cooks having more than 1,000 receiving yards in 6 of the past 8 seasons with almost a 40% air yard share. We're talking 30+% target share in an offense. Davis Mills had a top 5 deep ball completion percentage last year. Davis Mills with an incredible throwing mechanics, great deep ball, great intermediate thrower, play action completion percentage, very good. Brandin Cooks, so cheap right now, so cheap, but that is also correlated with the fact that he is going into his 8th year in the NFL. Now we know wide receivers can play longer than running backs at a high level. He is extended with the Texans for the next couple years. It's not massive news. It's not going to affect Brandin Cooks' stock a whole lot in the interim unless he goes out and balls out. Brandin Cooks has a range of outcomes to where he could finish as a top 5 wide receiver. That is overperforming based on the current expectations, and with the scarcity around the 2014 rookie ticket auto or 2014 Prism parallel that's very short print, you could see the value of those going up. Let's talk about someone who is at the top of the Hall of Fame marker chart for tight ends, and that is Rob Gronkowski, giving Tom Brady a dose of his own medicine with the retirement and then the unretirement. Gronk still has not signed his deal with the Buccaneers, and we know, guys, we know that Gronk is going to sign with the Buccaneers and play in 2022 with Tom Brady. There's no doubt in my mind, but there is a lot of doubt in people's minds out there And you can see it reflected in his card prices. Of course, his cards are still selling every day, right? Gronk is one of those guys that cards are just going to continuously sell. His legacy is locked in stone with what he's already done with Brady. But he's still going to play, guys. He's still going to play. And once that news is released, his card value is going to go up. This SGC 9.5 Topps Chrome from 2010. I'm perfectly fine with investing in base cards and base short print parallel cards from 2010 of the best tight end to ever play. Are you kidding me? SGC 9.5 for $69. Great value. I love these cards. Even this one, man, I would love to reach. If there was a guy that was going to reach on in a skill position player, he would absolutely be one of them. All right, I've got one more news story to cover, and after that, I'm going to drop an entire playlist over here, guys, of personal investments, both collection and investment that I've made over the past couple months that you can sell on news like this in this video. Next bit of news, I want to talk about something very important because the Dallas Cowboys have the biggest market size in the NFL. Absolutely massive, absolutely massive. So when I look at who they're projected to take in the upcoming draft, we're either looking at a guard in the first round or we're looking at a wide receiver and then a guard in the second round. We're either looking at a guard or wide receiver in the first 2 rounds. So we're looking at offensive skill position players, whether it's an offensive lineman or a wide receiver, to boost up Dak Prescott, to build around him, guys. The offense in 2022 is going to be prolific, all right? They had one of the best defenses in 2021. They're in a very soft division in the NFC East. They're playing against the Giants and the Eagles and the Washington Commanders, so they're bound to head back to the playoffs in 2022. Dak Prescott's a borderline 5,000 plus yard passer each year. Are you kidding me? You look at the value of his cards, somebody is going to make money off of Dak Prescott cards this year. These cards are at prices that I was buying for them back in July of 2020, heading into the modern sports card market boom. You could compare, that to, they are more expensive than that of Carson Wentz, who people have just completely lost faith in now. He's on another new team in the Washington Commanders. But you compare him to that of Ezekiel Elliott. More than that. But we look at Derrick Henry's PSA 10 Silver Prism, a guy that's going to be 29 years old in 2022, a guy who suffered the worst injury of his career last year with the foot, and we know what the age production curve looks like for running backs. This is when they typically start to fall off, and we have seen a decline in the efficiency of Derrick Henry on a per carry basis. We're talking about broken tackles per carry, yards created per carry. Derrick Henry did not do as well last year as Dontrell Hilliard or Deonta Foreman. So Derrick Henry, for me, as much as I want to say it because I love the guy, he's freaking Zangief. There's no player comparable to him. Player Profiler compares him to Zangief from Street Fighter. Are you kidding me? But Derrick Henry is getting up there in age for a running back. I'd rather sell my PSA 10 Derrick Henry for $700 and go buy me a Dak Prescott PSA 10 for $430. That's where I'm at right now on that type of investment. And then with the extra money I have left over, I'm going to go and buy Tony Pollard because I believe whether they draft a wide receiver or they draft an offensive lineman, this is going to bode well for Tony Pollard, who's creeping over and taking over the workload from Ezekiel Elliott, because on an efficiency standpoint, on a per carry basis, Tony Pollard was more efficient. He was more explosive. He had more breakaway runs. Tony Pollard is slowly becoming the future running back in Dallas, and he's all-purpose. He's a bell cow. He's a stud. At the current prices, I think these cards are going to continue to go up in 2022. He's one of my favorite targets for 2022, and I absolutely love. I am partial to 2019 products, especially 2019 rookie ticket autos. I love the way these cards freaking look with that team logo on the left-hand side, guys. So on the other hand, I'm selling Michael Gallup. In fact, this is my sold transaction right here on top. I just sold this Optic Hollow. These are cards I was buying for $5, just a couple dollars. Michael Gallup was so cheap last year, last summer, and last October, November. Michael Gallup was so cheap. So I bought a bunch of his cards last summer. I'm now selling them now for 4x what I paid for them then. And this is one of them, a prime example. I've got a bunch more that I'm going to be listing So he's a guy that I would recommend selling, guys. He's got some hype right now because right now he looks like the alpha on that team. They draft a wide receiver. He's no longer the alpha. He's also coming off a late season ACL tear. So I really think that CeeDee Lamb is going to take a step forward in that offense. And Michael Gallup is probably going to be a wide receiver 2. If they draft a Treylon Burks or a Chris Olave or something like that, I think Michael Gallup goes back to that wide receiver 2-3 role in the Dallas offense, which is fine. I think he'll still have some spike games, but ultimately I don't think he's going to become an alpha like a CeeDee Lamb, or even, Dalton Schultz is another guy who's very good receiving tight end in that offense. And then they draft a guy, I think that could potentially, and Jerry Jones has connections to the Arkansas Razorbacks, and so he likes Treylon Burks. He wants to get that alumni from, and I think you've got some nice value right now in Michael Gallup. You can see what some of these optics are selling for from 2018, so I like selling him. All right, guys, that's the news for now, and here's that playlist I promised right over here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything out on the quest. I'll see you in that next one. Peace.